of evidence that Mr. Watson engaged in sexual assault is defined by the NFL against 4 therapists. Former federal judge Sue L. Robinson, the independent disciplinary officer for the National Football League, handed down a 6-game suspension to Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson for violating the league's personal conduct policy. The league was hoping for a full year. They have 3 days to file an appeal should they choose. This is in the wake of 25 women filing civil suits against Watson, of which Watson settled 23 of 24 pending cases. Major League Baseball's trade deadline comes your way tomorrow. The biggest prize available, Juan Soto of the Nationals. Padres are one of the potential suitors. Today, the Padres acquire closer Josh Hader from Milwaukee in a 5-player deal. 4 go back to the Brewers, including their closer, Taylor Rogers. Jeff Passan reported that. He also says, don't rule out the Padres for Juan Soto.
The Padres have been the presumptive favorite because they have Robert Hassel and C.J. Abrams. They have James Wood and Jackson Merrill, Mackenzie Gore, these really good, talented, young, under-control players who they are willing to move.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Music. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ton to get to today. LSU defensive lineman Mekhi Wingo 1 hour from right now. Cat Terrell with the Saints camp report next hour as well. Wilson Alexander had a nice piece on LSU's new NIL structure. We'll chat with Wilson in hour number 3. Let me start with a little baseball news. I will get to Tyrann Mathieu here in just a quick second because that was significant, but this is relevant here within the last half hour or so. We thought LSU's roster was set, but it never really is until the deadline comes and goes in the Major League Baseball draft. And LSU has lost another player, Carter Young, the transfer from Vanderbilt, who looked poised to be a starter in LSU's infield, has signed with the Baltimore Orioles. He was taken. He was taken with pick 497. I'm only laughing because I have to laugh. I don't want to cry. The Orioles gave him $1.325 million. $1.25 million that counts against their pool, as we remind you all the time, that each team has a draft pool that they can spend on their draft picks. Typically, that's earmarked for the top 10 rounds. But if you sign someone under slot value or if someone doesn't sign, you could have an amount of money that is available to sign prospects that are outside of those top 10 rounds, and such is what happened here. Carter Young was poised to go to LSU. On Friday, LSU announced, to tell you how official LSU thought it was when they got Paul Skeens, LSU announced that 5 signees were joining, as transfers were joining the program, and Carter Young was one of them. And they assumed at that point that it was done, that he was not going to sign. But clearly the Baltimore Orioles came in very late, offered him $1,325,000. He took the number, and Carter Young is now going to begin his professional career. So, Carter Young, we hardly knew thee. So where does that leave LSU? It leaves LSU, I don't want to say with a concerning lack of depth, but you lost a lot of depth because it looked like you were so loaded. You had Jack Pineda from Baylor. You had Carter Young from Vanderbilt. You had Gavin Guidry sign. And so you had Jordan Thompson coming back. And so you look and you go, well, okay, we'll call your Cranford leaves. And you kind of understand why some of these guys decided to enter the portal and find a spot elsewhere because it didn't look like they were going to have a spot here. And then, of course, Pineda signs and now Carter Young signs. So, one of the guys we were keeping an eye on was Josh Day from Missouri, who had a lot of interest from a lot of places, including LSU. He signed 2 days ago. And that was a guy who they were kind of nudging to say, hey, look, wait till after the draft. Because if you wait till after the draft, there may be spots that have more interest, where there's a spot for you and you could command more, maybe an NIL, whatever the case may be. But he signed 2 days ago, and now Carter Young is signed with the Orioles. So when you look at LSU next year, we would have assumed on Friday your infield would have looked in some combination of Morgan at first base, Guidry, Young, and Thompson battling it out for second, third, and short. Whoever wins, fills whatever spots. Now you could look at a situation where you try Tommy White at third. You try Tommy White at third. You have Jordan Thompson and Gavin Guidry as your middle infielders. I know they're going to work with Gavin Dugas a good amount to see if he can give you an extra glove at second base. He has played second and third in his LSU career. So that'd be huge for Gavin Dugas. For him, just not only trying to become a draftable prospect next year, coming back to hit, but also if he can solidify himself with a defensive spot on the infield, that'd be huge for him, because I'm not sure there's going to be a spot in the outfield for him next year. So I think LSU is going to be fine, but that stinks. I mean, that stings, and it's not one you were expecting Friday when LSU formally announced the transfers that were coming in. They were not expecting to lose Carter Young, yet here they are now with Young signing. It's why you always just hold your breath until the deadline. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. So there was a little bit of a melt on Saturday on Twitter. Just to kind of catch you up, before Saints camp started, the Saints announced that Tyrann Mathieu was not with the team. It was an excused absence. He was dealing with a personal matter, and nobody really thought much of it because that happens. These are human beings. They deal with things in their personal lives at times, and they have to be away from work, the team, whatever it may be. And so, by and large, nobody really asked Dennis Allen last week as the Saints were hitting the practice field for the first time. But then Saturday came. And the Saints were on the practice field. They did not practice Sunday. Saturday came, and Dennis Allen was asked for an update on Tyrann Mathieu.
Do you have any updated timetable when you expect Mathieu to come back?
I do not.
Short, succinct, concerning, and maybe mostly concerning because Tyrann Mathieu scrubbed every reference to the Saints from his Instagram account. I don't want to overreact. And I know that right now there's kind of two camps. There are the people that are freaking out that Tyrann Mathieu has scrubbed the Saints from his Instagram. He's been a no-show, all that sort of stuff. And there's the other people that are saying, hey, man, just give him his space, give him his time. And I think both kind of have merit right now. And I'll tell you honestly, I'm concerned. When I saw Tyrann had scrubbed the Saints from his Instagram, I made about 5 calls on Saturday, and there was not a consensus from anyone. No one really seemed to know exactly what was going on here. So I want to be clear that I'm not jumping to any conclusion, and I certainly don't have any definitive knowledge of what's going on with Tyrann, the personal matter that's kept him away, why he deleted everything from his Instagram. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I just can look at a lot of circumstantial things and say, okay, he's absent really without cause, without noted cause. He deleted all the Saints stuff from his social media, from his Instagram. You were getting absolutely no reassurances whatsoever from the Saints, which is concerning. If you want to add another sort of silly piece of circumstantial evidence, Tyrann said he wanted the number 5 jersey, and then late last week we found out that actually Mark Ingram was going to switch with Andy Dalton. So Dalton's going to wear 14 and Ingram's going to wear 5, and Tyrann said he wanted the 5. Well, again, it's all circumstantial. I'm granting you it is all circumstantial. I'm not saying there's anything definitive here. But if you're concerned, I think you're right to be. I mean, remember, we see this happen from time to time where guys will, athletes will delete references to a team from their social media. Deebo Samuel did this. You remember Deebo Samuel said he wanted to trade from San Francisco. He deleted everything 49ers from his Instagram account. Well, ultimately the Niners said, yeah, we're not trading you. And over the weekend, they signed him to a gigantic extension. So congrats to Deebo Samuel. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Tyrann. Again, I'm not going to jump to conclusions. I'm not going to say that there's anything definitive there. What I will say is that the Saints, but I am concerned. I mean, until I see Tyrann Mathieu out there back on the practice field with the Saints, and I will say is that the Saints need Tyrann Mathieu. I mean, you all know this, but Malcolm Jenkins retired after the season, and Marcus Williams signed with Baltimore. I mean, you lost both of your safeties, and the way you addressed it was you went and signed Marcus May, who the good news there is, despite coming off a torn Achilles, he's back practicing right now, which is awesome. And you signed Tyrann Mathieu. I mean, that's your starting safety tandem. Now, I mean, do you have options? Sure. You could play Bradley Roby in the nickel, and you could move Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back to safety. I mean, again, I'm getting way, way ahead of myself here, admittedly. So you have options, but none of them are as good as the option of having Tyrann Mathieu. And the other thing we talk about, too, is, of course, I mean, you're looking for a season where you're replacing Sean Payton, and you should have great player leadership on this team. And Tyrann would be a big part of that. Guys like Cam Jordan and DeMario Davis. So when you lose the guy that's been the captain of the ship for 15 years, it's reassuring to have so many veteran players that are great leaders as well. So look, we'll follow it as it goes along. I'm not simply going to dismiss it and say, nothing to worry about, because there's a lot there that suggests, hey, something ain't right. And until you get answers, you got to continue to follow it. I'm going to hope for the best and hope that Tyrann's back with the same. Hope first and foremost, all's well with him and his family, and everything's okay. And that he ends up back with the Saints sooner than later and plays a great season in his hometown. We all get to watch him run around in the black and gold, which we all want to see. But this is something that I don't think you can just simply brush aside, because there's too much circumstantial things right there to say, yeah, nothing's happening. I mean, we will continue to follow it and hope for the best here. Kat Terrell's going to be with us bottom of hour 2, so a little more than an hour from right now. She's been at all the practices, and she'll be with us next hour to give us Saints camp report. And I'll ask her thoughts and the latest on Tyrann if we have anything. All right, so after further review, glad to have you aboard with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, some big news coming for LSU football, hopefully, as one of the top prospects, not only in the state but the entire country, has set his commitment date. It's coming up soon. We'll talk about it when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siega near Airline, LA16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day to buy local, shop local, support a great local business that's been supporting our community for 60 years now. That's Clegg's Nursery. If you need flowers, plants, and trees and shrubs, maybe it's big privacy shrubs or beautiful flowers to enhance your outdoor space, Clegg's has an awesome selection. And remember, they're partnered with True Value Hardware Store. So maybe it's a deal where all those ant hills are popping up in your yard. Maybe with all this heat, you're getting brown spots in your grass. You're not sure what's happening there. Clegg's has the answer. Their horticulturists have the know-how, and they have the products to help you out. Maybe you need wasp spray, or you need hammers and nails, or duct tape and floodlights. They got you covered at Clegg's Nursery. Any of their 4 locations. Siega near Airline, LA16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Saturday is going to be a really big day for LSU football. Shelton Sampson, the 5-star wide receiver out of Cali High, has announced he's going to make his commitment Saturday at 3:06. Shelton Sampson wears number 6 for Catholics, so he's going to make his commitment on the 6th at 3:06 p.m. So Saturday, 3:06 p.m., he'll make the announcement over at the campus at Catholic High. He's deciding among his final 4, who he's got LSU, Alabama, Florida State, and Texas A&M. Of course, it is worth mentioning that former Catholic High head coach Gabe Fertitta is now an analyst at Florida State, likely the reason, or one of the reasons why Shelton Sampson has Florida State among his final 4. The other 3 are pretty self-explanatory. To look at the particulars there with Sampson, he's a 5-star. He is in the 247 composite, the number 33 player in the country. He's the 4th best wide receiver and the number 3 player in Louisiana, behind only, of course, Arch Manning and Derek Williams, the safety, who is now committed to Texas. You might remember, maybe you don't, but I'll refresh your memory. In the summer of 2020, remember, COVID had hit, and a lot of recruits were not able to take recruiting visits because there were no camps. Nothing was happening, in person. So the aforementioned Gabe Fertitta, who was at the time the head coach at Catholic High, had what they called the Curdog Combine. And it was essentially what amounts to a camp, a combine of sorts, and they streamed live video of it for coaches and recruiters around the country to see their athletes. And they did 40s, and they did the 40 and the broad jump and the vertical and all the combine drills, right? And Shelton Sampson, after that, is when he gained the most notoriety because he popped off in a huge way. He measured barefoot, measured 6'4". So a lot of times measurements are fudged. Shelton Sampson was measured barefoot at 6'4", And then when he ran the 40, the number popped that he immediately got offers from coaches that had never even seen him before. This was Gabe Fertitta on AFR explaining what happened with Shelton Sampson that day. This was in the summer of 2020.
He ran his first 40, and we had 2 stopwatches on each 40 track. There was 2 tracks the guys ran on. So he runs his first 40, and both coaches stop the watch. And in one of the videos, you can hear one of our coaches say, no. And he says, you show me yours, I'll show you mine. And so they show each other the clock, and they both dead on had 4:35. So then I said, no, I don't believe it. So he ran his second one. Every kid ran 2 40s. And his second one, we had 3 watches. He ran 4:39 dead on the other 2 coaches, and I had him at 4:40 on my watch.
So in 2 different 40-yard dash attempts, and Paul, if you want to pull, this was the video of it that Catholic posted at the time of the 40. 4:35 and then 4:39 or 4:40 in his 2 40 attempts. This, by the way, was 2 years ago when Shelton Sampson was a rising sophomore. He had just finished his freshman year and was going into his sophomore year. Because of this, the Curdall Combine, this is when Shelton Sampson started getting immediate offers, just offer after offer after offer. And then subsequently, he's done nothing to dissuade anyone from thinking that he's going to be an incredible prospect. And Shelton Sampson's going to make his announcement on Saturday. And, of course, I think a lot of people who've been around the Baton Rouge area remember Shelton Sampson Sr. His dad was a phenomenal high school football player at Redemptorist. One of them played collegiately. Now Shelton Jr. is at Catholic. He's had a phenomenal career. It's been interesting to watch him as teams shade toward him and do everything they can to try to eliminate him from an offensive game plan. And few have been able to do so successfully. He's just physically that gifted. But for all the reasons that we continue to discuss, like, last week when Tyree Adams committed to LSU, the offensive lineman out of St. Aug, the same holds true here with Shelton Sampson. You're talking about an in-state kid, and not just an in-state prospect, but a premier in-state prospect who's got offers from all the major programs. Literally everybody can go anywhere. These are the types of recruiting battles that Brian Kelly and his staff have just got to win. They've just got to win battles like this. And it's been Joe Sloan and Cortez Hankton primarily recruiting him. And Sloan, of course, when he was at Louisiana Tech, not only recruited North Louisiana there around Ruston, but his prime area was Baton Rouge, New Orleans. And, of course, Cortez Hankton is the receivers coach at LSU. So we'll find out on Saturday. But if you look at the crystal balls that all the recruiting services put out, I mean, it's essentially unanimous. Everybody's putting, in crystal balls for Shelton Sampson to LSU. And it would just be a massive get, because that's when the little mini meltdown happened last month when Derek Williams picked Texas and Arch Manning had picked Texas. Eli Holstein had gone A&M, then Bama, and you're not even in the mix for Jaden Osbury. The little mini meltdown was, hey, why isn't LSU in for these best prospects in Louisiana? And a lot of that just takes time to cultivate those relationships and build and develop, and then get those guys to stay home. This would be a very important step in that direction to get a guy like Shelton Sampson from Baton Rouge just to go from Hearthstone to Dalrymple and stay at LSU. So we'll know for sure on Saturday when he makes his pledge. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. Check them out online. Remember, if it's on the lot, it's online at southpointvw.com. If they don't have the vehicle you're looking for on the lot, no worries. You can make a reservation, and they will go find that vehicle for you and get it delivered right here to Baton Rouge at South Point Volkswagen. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, airline just north of Highland, or online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. For South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? So one of the really cool things that happened here at the end of summer workouts at LSU is new strength and conditioning coordinator Jake Flint handed out the Iron Tiger Award. Now, LSU did publish this video. I'll go ahead and play it for you in case you have not seen or heard it yet. Yeah, let's start it over.
Iron Tiger 2022, Iron Tiger, okay? Got a few names, pop up every week. The one, consistently, over time, comes back in. One, Iron Tiger 2022. He gets a kick-ass award. Mekhi Wingo!
So Mekhi Wingo, the transfer from Missouri, got the Iron Tiger Award. This is something new, obviously, by Jake Flint. But I was thinking about Mekhi Wingo earlier today. By the way, Mekhi Wingo is going to be with us in 35 minutes from right now. He'd gone home to the St. Louis area, and he's driving back to Baton Rouge today. So while he's on the road, he's going to jump aboard with us here in about 35 minutes. But I was, in preparation to talk to Mekhi earlier, I was kind of looking into this. And, we've talked so much about the defensive line, and everyone's really excited about your defensive ends returning. Mason Smith, who many feel can be an All-American. I talked about Jaquelin Roy, who was on the Outland watch list, and why I'm very bullish on Jaquelin Roy, and I think he can be and will be have a very good junior season. How he's sort of mapping towards some of the best that have ever come through LSU. Not saying he'll be there, but the first 2 years have been on par with or better than some of the best defensive linemen ever come through LSU. So it's a big opportunity for Jaquelin Roy. Wingo, though, is a guy we haven't spent a lot of time on this offseason because we don't know him. I mean, he just finished his freshman year at Missouri, transferred in. But this is a really impressive honor when you have a guy that is potentially, it was not a starter, but is on the depth chart, down the depth chart, and is potentially earning starter reps because of the way he's conducting himself here in the offseason. And the other thing to consider is there's no favoritism from coaches here. I mean, all of these coaches are brand new. So Jake Flint wasn't here last year. He has every impression he has of all of the guys on the roster right now are his first impression, regardless if you've been here if you're Mekhi Wingo and you've only been here since January, or if you're someone who's been here for 4 years. So that's one of the reasons that Mekhi Wingo being honored like this was very impressive. But I was thinking about this too. When you look specifically at defensive line, I mean, the rotation is so important. And there's one year that always comes to mind for me, and it's 2013, where you had in 2013 a couple of veteran starters in Anthony Johnson and Ego Ferguson, but you had no real depth after them. And so anytime you're rotated on the defensive line to give your starters a break, it was like the floodgates opened. The contrast to that, one of the best years LSU ever had was 2011. Of course, that was an incredible defense, but your starting defensive tackles were Benny Logan, who was an All-American, and Michael Brockers, who was a first-round draft pick. Behind them, you had Anthony Johnson, who was the number one defensive lineman in the country, and Josh Downs, who at that point in his career was a veteran player and a really good rotational piece. Your threes, by the way, were Ego Ferguson, another five-star, and Dennis Johnson, a veteran player who gave you really good snaps. My point is you were six deep in your rotation at defensive tackle. That's one of the reasons why LSU's 2011 defense was as amazing as it was, because it didn't matter when you rotated, like you were just replacing with dudes who were veteran, awesome players. Mingo and Montgomery were your starting ends. Well, when you replaced, you went to LeVar Edwards and Chance Aguirre, a couple of dudes who've been around for 4 years and were really good players. So depth, especially on the defensive line, is so important. I mean, I mentioned 2013. Remember 2014 when Anthony Johnson and Ego Ferguson left? Your starters were Christian Lockacher, who was a sophomore, and Davin Gottschall, who was a true freshman. Now, both are really good players. Lockacher wore the 18. Gottschall just got broke off in the NFL. But you had a true freshman and a sophomore as your starting interior lineman in 2014. It's one of the reasons why that defense was not very good. I mean, you were young with your starters and had no depth. You look at this team, even if a guy like Wingo isn't your starter, Mason Smith, Jaquelin Roy is your starters, backed up by Mekhi Wingo, who just won the Iron Tiger Award and was a freshman All-SEC, and Jacobian Guillory, who's a giant space eater. And then after that, you're talking about Ty G. Hill and Bryce Langston as your 5 and 6. You got depth. You have good depth there. And that's why, a big reason why I think I'm very bullish on this defensive line. I like your first four a lot. I mean, all of those guys, Ali Gay, B.J. Ojolari, Mason Smith, Jaquelin Roy, they all have NFL potential, but so do the guys after them. And that's one of the reasons why I'm bullish. It's not just talent. It's also guys with some skins on the wall. So Looking forward to talking to Mekhi Wingo exactly 30 minutes from right now here on AFR. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll come back, and we'll go around the SEC. Cat Terrell, 1 hour from right now. We'll do a Saints camp report for day 5 of camp. Saints were off on Sunday. Full pads today there at the Saints training facility. So we'll get you a full camp report coming up in 1 hour from right now. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
And every time you pull up to the pump to buy a gallon of gas, every time you go to the grocery store, buy a gallon of milk, you see the very real effect of inflation. I mean, everything costs more. So many of us right now are thinking, okay, how can I either make more money or find a way to save money? If you haven't done so yet, do what thousands of AFR listeners have done. Call Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. Remember, you don't have to live in Baton Rouge or even in Louisiana. They're licensed in Texas and Arkansas and Mississippi and Alabama and Florida. So even if it's a camp or something like that, or hunting camp or a piece of real estate along the beach, Insurance Network of Louisiana can help you insure that and save money. 293-0450. Let them shop independently for free to see if they can find you better coverage for less money. There is no catch. It is totally free to have them shop. 293-0450. Call right now. 293-0450.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Please check out dropbiscuit.com and browse our growing library. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to Pops, Fame, You Talking to Me, For the People, Well Stated, or whatever your Southern flavored audio biscuit you fancy. That's dropbiscuit.com.
What happened to your voice, Muse?
What do you mean?
What happened to your voice?
Did it crack or something?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
Like multiple times there.
Ooh.
Ooh, big guy.
Well, despite that, you should still check out dropbiscuit.com.
The 420 cruise did a number on you there, Muse?
There was no 420 cruise.
I don't know.
There wasn't, no. I'm a little hoarse, though.
The evidence is building against you there, Muse.
We're good.
Hot biscuits. I don't know why you call that a drop biscuit. They call them hot biscuits.
Hot biscuits?
We got a new podcast drop. Hot biscuits. There they are. Hot, like Pops. The Reno with Reno Wilson. Scone and tea, of course. Dropped that on Wednesday. Of course, I record LSU Daily, which you can subscribe to if you love the LSU Tigers. It's about 20 minutes of LSU content every day. Drop it at 6 a.m., so that's there for you. LSU Daily, subscribe up. And today we recorded the first episode, Jonathan Pixley and I, of Rosters to Riches, first of its kind NIL podcast. So that drops episode 1 tomorrow morning as well. So however you get your podcast, go to dropbiscuit.com and you get that. So we covered a lot of ground today, Pixley and I did. We're excited about that podcast and what we're going to do with it. And Match Point now a year into the NIL game, of course, more than a year, as a matter of fact, has built up so many incredible relationships. And the amount of people, both athletes and business owners, who want to tell their NIL stories, who are willing to come on with us, has been incredible. I'm not going to give you too much of a tease right now, but suffice to say that there's a former LSU coach who is very eager to come on the pod with us, and that'll be happening likely in the next month or so, and very excited about that. So we'll keep you posted. Rosters to Riches, first episode drops tomorrow at the Drop Biscuit Studios or however you get your podcast. Are we going to go around the SEC? We every year the Sportico puts out the NFL valuations for the current valuations for every NFL team. That released today. Some of my takeaways I'll get to here in just a quick second. Right now, though, let's do it. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Richard Young, the top-ranked running back in the country for 2023. He's committed to Alabama. The number 14 overall prospect, 5'11", 195. Picked Bama over Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Georgia, Oregon, and basically everybody else. So Alabama now has commitments from the top 2 running backs in the country for this cycle with Young and Justice Haynes.
The Texas A&M Aggies.
A&M got a big get. Linebacker Anthony Hill Jr. He picked Texas A&M this weekend over Texas. He's a top 10 linebacker in the country. He is the number 7 overall player in the ESPN 300. 6'2", 230-pounder from Denton, Texas. Also on Saturday, the Aggies added another highly ranked defensive player, Dalton Brooks, 6'1", 175-pound safety from Shiner, Texas. He's the number 78 overall player in the country, the number 6 safety. Had offers from Bama, Georgia, LSU, Texas, USC, and others.
The Florida Gators.
Billy Napier's building on his class. 2023 4-star wide receiver Andy Jean picked the Gators. 6'1", 180-pounder. Jean is from Miami and picked the Gators over his hometown Hurricanes, along with Bama, A&M, Arkansas, and others. He's the number 42 receiver in the class of 2023. He joined 4-star safety Jordan Castell and 4-star receiver Aiden Mizell as 2023 players who committed to Florida over the weekend.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky football landed a commitment from Swanee, Georgia linebacker Grant Godfrey. 6'3", 215-pounder. Godfrey chose the Wildcats over Tennessee, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, TCU. He's the number 23 linebacker in the country. His father, Randall Godfrey, played 12 NFL seasons. His son's heading to Lexington.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Southwest Mississippi Community College offensive tackle Izavion Miller has committed to Ole Miss. Did so on Sunday night. 6'6", 320-pounder. He's the 9th commit for the Rebs in the 2023 class. Miller does not yet have a recruiting grade from 247 Sports, but aside from Ole Miss, had offers from South Florida, Memphis, and Jackson State.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
And Arkansas freshman tight end Dax Courtney is medically retiring from football before he ever plays a snap. He was a signee in this most recent 2022 class. Picked the Razorbacks over Baylor, Kansas, K-State, Michigan State, Missouri, Penn State, and others. He's a 3-star prospect, ranked number 966 nationally, the 53rd best tight end in the country. But due to injury, he will retire from football. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. Online at gcopnet.com. That's gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. The national Savin leader, but proudly service all makes and models with offices in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, North Shore, and in Lafayette. The official office equipment provider of the Saints, the Pelicans, the LSU Tigers, and the ULL Raging Cajuns. Mekhi Wingo, LSU defensive lineman, 19 minutes from right now. The Dallas Cowboys are the most valuable sports franchise in the country, worth $7.64 billion. Some perspective on that. Not only are the Cowboys the most valuable NFL team, they are the most valuable sports franchise in the United States of America. They're worth $630 million more than the second-place New York Yankees. That is an incredible mouthful of what Jerry Jones has been able to build, and even more impressive considering the relative lack of success on the field. I do not mean for that to be a shot, but just look at the others that are among that list. Number 2 is the Los Angeles Rams. The value of the Los Angeles market. Obviously, they just won the Super Bowl, but think of it as well. The Chargers are 19th on the list, but the value of winning in the Los Angeles market. The Rams are number 2. The New England Patriots, number 3. Yes, Boston is massive, but obviously you win championships and more championships than any. You're going to be high on that list. The New York Giants, the San Francisco 49ers. You're talking about historic franchises in large markets that win. The Bears, the Jets, but New York. If you're wondering, the Saints are 25th on the list at $3.26 billion. Dead last on the list are the Cincinnati Bengals, incredibly, that just went to the Super Bowl, but speaks to how little the Brown family that owns the Bengals are willing to spend historically, why they are the lowest valued organization in the NFL, and also how impressive it is what Joe Burrow has done. And if he can somehow get that family willing to spend money to win, that would be almost as impressive as Cincinnati, winning. A couple other things of note here. Proof that, look, heritage matters even if you're in a small market. Pittsburgh's 13, the Green Bay Packers, despite being the smallest market in the NFL, the 14th most valuable NFL franchise, despite being in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Mentioned the Los Angeles Chargers at 19 on the list. The Saints are there at 25. The average value of an NFL franchise, $4.14 billion, incredibly. That's up 18% over last year. I will be very curious to see if that number starts to slow, what point that number starts to slow. The value of an NFL franchise isn't going to continue to go up 18% year over year in perpetuity. That's just not realistic. So, at some point, that increase will slow, if not altogether stop. That will be a very interesting test case. But one of the reasons that Dallas has continued to see its valuation rise the way it has is not only because marketing, of course, is part of it and all that sort of stuff, but think about what Jerry Jones has done. On top of owning the franchise, he also started a hospitality company called Legends with the Yankees. And they have partnerships with a bunch of teams. Jerry Jones and the Cowboys this offseason also became the first team to reach a deal, a sponsorship deal with a cryptocurrency with blockchain.com. They have the Star, where not only the Cowboys practice there, but they build a lot of commerce around there. It's just, Jerry Jones is a very, very smart businessman in the way that he has operated the Dallas Cowboys to grow that brand. It's just stunning, as good of a businessman as he is, how short-sighted he is to realize he's not a great football general manager. And it's why his franchise has not won anything of significance in a quarter century. But congrats to the Cowboys on being worth a whole lot of money. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break here of hour number one. We'll wrap up hour one when we come back. Mekhi Wingo in 15 minutes. LSU transfer, sophomore defensive lineman Mekhi Wingo. Cat Terrell, 45 minutes from right now. We'll talk to Wilson Alexander, some NIL news, about an hour and 15 minutes from right now to start hour number 3. It's a jam-packed Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. We're glad you're with us here.
AFR.
Rouse's is the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, and Rouse's is always a great spot to get all your groceries. You're going to go make some groceries, you can get to Rouse's. Or if you can't get to Rouse's, no worries. You have the delivery and curbside pickup options at Rouse's as well. So go to rouses.com or download the Rouse's app. Super easy. Pick out your items. They'll go shop for you. And then when you pull up into one of the curbside delivery spots, they'll bring it out to you. Or if you can't make it to Rouse's, they will deliver to your home. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. You can learn more at rouses.com. You can see all the great offerings that they have, even all their hot lunch offerings. Or if you need dinner for the family, swing into any Rouse's today to pick up dinner for the family. You want grab-and-go sushi, they got it for you. You want to get a whole chicken, fried or baked, they got it for you. Incredible options all throughout. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouses.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I wrap it up hour number 1. What in the world was Ric Flair doing this weekend? Muse, you're a wrestling fan. 73 years old. What the hell was he doing? He wrestled again this weekend.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Why did he won? Of course. Well, I mean, of course. You're not going to run a 73-year-old Ric Flair out there to not win. But, I mean, he was in something called, it wasn't even like the big wrestling thing. It wasn't WWE.
Oh, was it AEW?
No.
No. What was this?
Exactly.
I don't even know what this
Exactly.
I didn't watch this. I've seen the clips clearly, and it's something.
Sold out municipal auditorium. I don't even know.
He wrestled Jeff Jarrett, didn't he?
The broadcast provider was Fight TV, F-I-T-E.
Oh, Lord.
TV. His first match since 2011. The Undertaker, Bret Hart, and Mick Foley were all there ringside to watch. Yeah, it was a tag team match with
that's good at least.
Andrade El Idolo.
At least he wasn't out there wrestling a singles match.
Do you know Andrade El Idolo?
No, I have no idea who that is. Was this like an independent promotion?
They were fighting,
it sounds like it was an independent promotion.
They were fighting Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett.
Jay Lethal does an incredible Ric Flair impression.
Who is Jay Lethal?
He's just another professional wrestler. But there's a old promo of him doing the impression. And
was this a South Carolina football game?
No.
I mean, this is what they play when Cocky comes out of the little...
Ric Flair's entrance music.
Well, it's also Cocky's entrance music. Yeah. You ever been to a game in South Carolina, Williams-Brice?
I haven't been to Williams-Brice.
They got this like stand thing right in midfield, and Cocky comes out from underneath it. He rises up on a pedestal. And then they start playing Sandstorm and waving towels.
That's so dramatic. Sandstorm's cool. But... Yeah, I don't know. What's more impressive, the fact that Ric Flair wrestled at 73 or that he bladed himself at 73 and bled everywhere?
Yeah, he bled everywhere.
It's not a Ric Flair match if he doesn't bleed everywhere.
I mean, I don't know how they let this thing happen.
Yeah, me either.
How much did he get paid to do this? I hope a lot. You know,
but
you
it's
would
like
hope
an independent promotion, it sounds like. I've never even heard of this thing.
Look at him. Look how old he is.
Yeah.
Can you pull this up, Paulie? Look, there's Ric Flair. If you're watching, if not, go look on social media. You can find it literally anywhere on social media now. Very old Ric Flair, with blood all over his face, looking kind of brittle. He's 73 years old.
Yeah.
What adult human was okay watching this?
I don't know. I mean, I would have had no interest watching that. I can tell you that. And I love Ric Flair. I find him fascinating.
Yeah, I told you, man. Meeting Ric Flair at First Take a few years ago was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just one of the greatest entertainers I've ever seen, and that's all just a very short window. But boy, that's it's like sometimes band you can kill. Oh, that's fine. Thank you. That's enough with
so good.
You should have followed it up with Sandstorm though. Then it would have made this complete. But like I don't want to see if you have like the super old rock band, you know, sometimes you can still get out there and do it a little. Vocals probably aren't going to be the same, but you know, it's still going to sound pretty cool and nostalgic and all that stuff. This is different when you're asking someone to do something physical in nature.
Yes.
I didn't see a minute of this fight, but my goodness, this just could not have been in any way
entertaining. Yeah, it couldn't have been. There's no way he could move. It's impossible that he could have actually moved in the ring.
Well, here's some video. While I understand this is terrible radio, and my apologies to our radio audience. while I'm watching video of Ric Flair get fake punched by something called Lethal. If that guy actually punched a 73-year-old man in the abdomen, he'd drop him in a millisecond.
Yes.
And did Ric Flair just like poke him in the eye?
God, dirtiest player in the game, man.
Is that what it is? That's how he got him off. He poked him in the eye. It's so
dirtiest player in the game.
So there's a lot of people there. I don't know what this is called. Jim Crockett Promotions. It says it right there on the apron.
Wow. Okay. That's been around for a very, very long time.
Oh, wonderful. I hope he made a lot of money doing it. I hope, because it's the only reason worth doing that at 73 years old. All right. Anyway, congrats to Ric Flair on winning his final match at 73, which I would guess will be his final match, but might not be, because if you do it at 73, why not 83? All right, the Mekhi Wingo after Sports Center.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. theantiagingclinics.com. All throughout the year, there's always great specials. And with August, of course, being the back-to-school month, they're having back-to-school specials, including great deals right now for teachers on Botox, on lip filler, wrinkle, relaxant. You get great deals right now at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. I tell you every single day, if you want to feel like your younger self, hormone replacement therapy could be a solution. But the thing that I would stress so much, why it's important to go to a place like Aesthetic, is because Dr. Todd Howe will oversee your care. It's so important that a medical doctor oversee your care. That's what you get at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Online, theantiagingclinics.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. Breaking news out of Major League Baseball right now, 24 hours in advance of the trade deadline. Here we go. The top two teams in the American League are making moves. According to ESPN's Jeff Passan, the Yankees have traded for Frankie Montas to the Oakland A's. The right-hander, one of the top free agent, one of the top trade deadline targets, has a 3.18 ERA on the year. The Yankees also get reliever Lou Trevino in the deal. In a separate deal, the Yankees get reliever Scott Efros from the Chicago Cubs. Also today, the Astros have just landed first baseman Trey Mancini of the Baltimore Orioles. News first reported by The Athletic. Now to the news that has dominated the day. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson been suspended for the first 6 games of the upcoming season for violating the league's personal conduct policy. The ruling handed down by NFL disciplinary officer Sue L. Robinson, with Watson being accused of sexual assault and inappropriate conduct during massage sessions by 25 women filed in civil suits. Watson recently settled 23 of the 24 pending cases. The league has 3 days to appeal.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
I was driving in this morning, getting here like around.
Honking at people?
Nah, I started flashing people.
Whoa!
Well, not like that.
Do you get better results?
Hell,
the guys will be back Tuesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios. That's right.
Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
I am sweating.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Make it a good one. We'll get a Saints camp report with Cat Terrell 30 minutes from right now. Wilson Alexander joins us, talk some NIL 1 hour from right now. But right now, LSU defensive lineman Mekhi Wingo good enough to join us as he's on his way back to Baton Rouge from his home in the St. Louis area. Mekhi, we appreciate the time, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you all for having me.
Man, it's always our pleasure. We appreciate you for jumping back aboard with us. I mean, in the last hour, we talked a little bit about Jake Flint honoring you with the Iron Tiger Award. Fill us in a little bit, man. What was your off-season summer workout like that I guess made him comfortable giving you that award?
I would say it was just coming in, being consistent. That was the main thing, just, you know what I'm saying, always showing up, in there, doing the right things before workouts and things like that. Just give that encouragement way. Group.
Hey, hang on one second, Muse. Pick up real quick. Let's just see if we can get him on a better. And Mekhi even told me that point. Yeah. Please. Mekhi even told me that point blank when we were trying to get him on the show. He said, "Look, I don't know if I'll have a great connection wherever I am on the road." I was like, "No worries, we're going to try it anyway." So let's just see if we can get him in a better connection because I do want to have this convo with Mekhi. We've talked so much about defensive line, how much of a focus that is going to be for this team, how offensively, receiver is the spot where LSU seems to have the most talent depth. Defensive line is that as well, and I think Mekhi is part of that, which is why I wanted to talk to him a little bit about what he feels like his role is coming out of, going into fall camp, how he feels his role will be. All right, Muse is trying to get him back with us here, so we're gonna try that. My apologies. And full disclosure, man, he even told us, hey, look, don't know if I'll have a great connection, but we'll see if we can make it work. But I think he's a very interesting dude, a guy who was freshman All-SEC a year ago at Missouri, made the decision to leave Missouri, picks LSU. We talked a little bit about that. Of course, his high school coach was Robert Steeples, who left. Went from high school to the NFL, ranks the Vikings, and then of course joined up here at at LSU, so a pretty natural connection there. So I think we got him. As I've filibustered. We got him? Okay, cool. All right, Mekhi, appreciate your patience. Dude, it's so funny. I was telling the audience, man, you even told me via text earlier, like, not sure, man. Connection may be bad, but hopefully we got it good, man. You got us okay?
Yep, I can hear you all.
Perfect, man. You sound loud and clear. I appreciate it. Hey, if you would, just go back over your summer with the Iron Tiger Award again, just so we could hear it this time.
I would say just consistency. You know what I'm saying? Just coming in and being consistent, bringing energy to the workout group. You know what I'm saying? Encouraging others, and just doing the little things.
I mean, 7 months after you committed to LSU, I'm sure you had some expectation of what it would be like here. How has that, the expectation of what you thought it might be like mapped to what it's actually been like for you?
I would say just the expectation of bringing excellence every day. When I transferred, I told them that was something I wanted to do, to come to a program where, everyone's held accountable and everyone's held to a high standard. And I think they've done a great job at doing that in the weight room, on the field, in the classroom, and really all aspects of being an athlete at LSU.
We've talked so much, and look, this was a big talking point at SEC Media Days a couple of weeks ago as well, how LSU's receiver group seems so loaded on the offense, on defense. It's just the defensive line is so stacked. What do you feel like that being in that room is like every day with the amount of guys you have there at the defensive line?
There's a lot of talent in that room. And, we know we're learning how to work together, and we've really learned it through the spring. So I would just say, we know when we have to push each other, and if one of us slacking off and things like that, we can get on each other, and it's going to be fine. It's not going to be no animosity in the room or anything like that. So I say that's why I think we'll be successful, just knowing that we can push each other and go hard, and just know we're going to play for each other.
Mekhi, what is your role? Coming out of spring and then workouts. Like, do you feel like you're pushing for a starting role, or is your role at LSU this first year to provide depth there?
I haven't really, coming out of spring, it was just me getting acclimated to the system and the coaches learning us. So it just depends on, I would say, what the game plan is and the different things. Obviously I'm more of a pass rusher and things like that. But I think whether starting or not, the depth we're going to have is going to be one of the best in the country.
Yeah. Mekhi Wingo's with us here for a couple minutes. Oh, by the way, why did you head home to the St. Louis area?
Oh, we got a little break before fall camp started. And we didn't really get a long break during the 4th of July. So, I headed home for a little bit, just train and be with my family.
Sure. I saw the picture that your high school put up there, you talking to the team. What was that experience like, getting to go back home and talk to those young guys?
I'm always about just giving back and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed my time at the school, so it really wasn't a problem for me to go back up there and talk to them. I went up there and watched one of their scrimmages and things like that. I enjoy being back around the guys that's in the, that I came up in.
Got a couple more minutes here with Mekhi Wingo, LSU, a sophomore defensive tackle under his first season with the Tigers after coming in from Missouri. What have been your impressions after a spring and now going through the summer as well of defensive line coach Jamar Cain?
Coach Cain, that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to talk to the players. He knows how to get through the. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to adjust his coaching style for each player, and he's very knowledgeable when it comes to defensive line play. And you know what I'm saying? I know he's going to be one of the best D-line coaches in the nation. And he's going to be regarded as that after this year. He's just a cool dude to be around.
You said he knows how to adjust his message to players. Give me an example of like how he coaches you.
He knows he got to get on me a little more, and then I'm more of a visual learner, so he shows me things more rather than just telling. Well, I am, so I don't have a problem with him. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with that because I've been coached like that before. He understands that.
I know there's a lot of people who are excited to see y'all hit the practice field, man. You acclimated to the heat in Louisiana yet?
I honestly don't know. Honestly, I haven't dived yet, but it's been hot. But I never know if I'm fully acclimated to it. Even the ones that's from Louisiana say it ain't no joke, and they live here their whole life. So I really won't know until it's that time.
Stay hydrated, dude. Man, we're looking forward to practice getting underway starting later this week and see you guys getting ready for that opener against Florida State. Safe drive, man. We appreciate you taking a couple of minutes today. I mean, I think we lost, but we appreciate Mekhi Wingo for taking a couple minutes on the phone. Apologize for some of the issues there, but I said, what the heck, man, let's give it a shot. He was going to be traveling and had some time in the car, so I said, let's give it a shot. But little issue there, but I appreciate it, man. He's a good dude with a good attitude. I think maybe the most interesting thing, if I had two big takeaways from that convo, one would be he sees himself as a pass rusher, and he's an interior player. So he is as our old buddy Mike D would say, he's a blow up the launch pad type guy. And if you're talking about someone who can rotate in as an interior pass rusher, the cool part about that is if you wanted to take Mason Smith and put him at end and have Mekhi Wingo as an interior pass rusher, you could do that. And you could have B.J. Ojulari as a stand-up. Not that Matt House needs my help designing a defense, but you don't have to be super football savvy to understand how you can use that rotation to your benefit with the different skill sets of guys. So that's one, as an interior pass rusher. Two is talking about Jamar Cain and how he changes his coaching style to mesh. Because you talk to those guys on the team, they love Jamar Cain. And it also makes sense when you just think about how LSU's got an early start on the 2023 signing class, and so many of those guys are defensive line prospects, and it's guys that Jamar Cain had a relationship with, that he was recruiting at Oklahoma, and just said, hey, come join me at LSU, and boom, 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 boom. I think they had 4 defensive linemen already that have popped because of him. So what a major get that was for Brian Kelly on staff, and it just continues to be validated that way. All right, to tap to further review, we're glad to have you aboard with us here. Love telling you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, bumper-to-bumper auto service and name-brand tires at wholesale prices. As a matter of fact, I'm due for an oil change and service on the vehicle right now on my Volkswagen, on the Atlas. Got to bring it to Shawbills. Any of the locations in the greater Baton Rouge area or all over South Louisiana, where they started in Morgan City up to Baton Rouge and west over to Lafayette, Acadiana, that whole area. The newest location actually is in Denham Springs. So Livingston Parish, you now have your very own Shawbills. Find the location nearest you. Shop tires online at ShawBillsTire.com. You can always call a location, schedule service online, or use the chat function. Go to the website, look at the bottom right, you see the little widget. Just tap it, select the location near you, and boom, in seconds, you're texting with a Shawbills associate at the location nearest you. That's ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. The biggest story in the sports world today is Deshaun Watson suspended 6 games for the upcoming season. I want to touch on that, not necessarily the 6 games. I'll leave that to other people to have the conversation, but how that obviously impacts the New Orleans Saints, considering the Saints play the Browns in Week 16. So we'll get to that, and then Cat Terrell, 17 minutes from right now. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
You know the worst part about talking about Ric Flair earlier? Now I'm getting targeted ads for wrestling all the time. I get a targeted ad for Monday Night Raw. Like, I haven't watched Monday Night Raw since 1996. Maybe before that. Why am I getting a targeted ad for Monday Night Raw? Just because I clicked on a Ric Flair video?
Yep. That's how it works.
Those internet machines, I tell you.
I'll get you.
Those internet machines sure know how to target you. Which is why you'll probably be getting an ad for Pops, the Louis Armstrong story, starring Reno Wilson soon on Drop Biscuit Studios. But it's after further review. There have been a lot of Pops. Hey, you can look. Everybody over there, all y'all want to do is just laugh silently. Don't act like you ain't saying, Muse, I swear to God, hanging me out to dry, bro. Over there laughing with his mic off. Just because y'all all say the same damn thing. We have promoted Pops a lot on this show, on this station.
Probably once a commercial break every day for the last
Pops
3 months.
A lot. Guarantee got a lot invested into Drop Biscuit Studios. I think it's a great idea. Got some awesome promotion. Already turning numbers. Been great. Been awesome. But we have promoted Pops quite a bit here.
More than most. Let's just say
whenever you have to listen to every commercial break for 3 straight hours every day, you hear it even more than everybody else does. That's all.
Reno Wilson, check it out. Pops.
The Louis Armstrong story.
Drop Biscuit.
It's really good, actually. Reno Wilson does a fantastic job. I listened to a couple episodes. It's really good. So Deshaun Watson, you probably heard, 6-game suspension. That was levied earlier today for violating the league's personal conduct policy. There's some people that are like super upset that it's not enough. There's some other people that are like, hey, it's really good. I honestly just don't care. I don't. The length of the suspension, all that sort of stuff. They had an independent arbitrator, Sue Robinson, rule on this, hear all sides of it. A 15-page conclusion. She reviewed 32 previous suspensions under the personal conduct policy. In 21 of those cases, the player was suspended for 6 games. The biggest suspension in 2021 was Jaron Jones for 10 games. That was a criminal plea, multiple instances of domestic violence. So you look at it, you go, okay, well, I guess. Look, here's the bottom line. The NFL doesn't want a star quarterback out of the league, but they also can't be viewed as too lenient. The Players Association and Deshaun Watson wants to be on the field, clearly, and wants to maintain his innocence. How to both get what they want? Well, you have an independent third party rule the way that they did. Diana Rossini was on Get Up, and she kind of talked about what the NFL thought about the suspension. When, remember, they wanted at least a year and then an indefinite suspension.
Most reaction I'm getting around the league, players, coaches, GMs, just most think it's a pretty low number. The expectation was that it was going to be a little higher, around that 8 games. Speaking with a source with the Cleveland Browns, they seem to be okay with this, as okay as they can be. They were bracing for this. They felt that this was the number. It was going to come around as well. And in terms of really what the next step is, because, all right, so we know it's 6 games. For now, this isn't the end of the road, Greeny, because as Adam just painted out, the NFL could appeal this. And, you know, not only was the league looking to suspend Deshaun for 12 games up to a year, but it was also coming with a really big fine. And we're not seeing a big fine here.
So again, the league publicly said they wanted it to be a year. And then they could look at this and say, this will be your telltale, by the way. This will be your telltale. The league can appeal. They want it to be a year. They can appeal. They have 3 days to appeal. They're not going to. And Sean Watson's not going to appeal. That's why you saw the Players Association last night come out and say that they call on everybody just to accept it, whatever it is. This allows the NFL to look tough and blame leniency on Robinson. And Watson doesn't miss a full season and is only, because he's fine, the fine is, it's not even a fine. He's just going to miss the game checks. But his base salary was only $1,035,000. So he's going to lose $345K. I mean, the guy signed the richest per year contract in the history of the NFL. He's okay sitting 6 games and losing $345K as opposed to an entire season of pay. So listen, all that, y'all decide if you care, if it's too lenient, not, whatever. I mean, I've spoken my piece on it. A grand jury didn't indict the guy. It is supremely easy to get a grand jury indictment. No criminal charge has been brought against him. What happened, I don't know, and neither do you. And quite honestly, at this point, I'll let other people decide that. For me, the only thing I really care about is that in Week 16 now, the Saints are going to face Deshaun Watson, and that's tough because we have talked for so many years about the Saints playing road games late in the season in cold weather environments. And what I am not sure yet, and we will only know as this plays itself out, is was that a product of the style of offense centrally focused on passing with Drew Brees, who is getting on in age, where playing in cold and wind and all that sort of stuff late in the season adversely affected him. I mean, we saw Tom Brady for many years play in a cold weather environment late in the season and be very effective passing the football. Patrick Mahomes doesn't seem to be effective throwing the football late in the season as well, despite being in a cold weather environment. Maybe it was just an aging Drew Brees, and that was the problem. Maybe it won't affect a Jameis Winston in his physical prime having to play these cold weather games. But you're talking about what will be scheduled for a noon kickoff on CBS on Christmas Eve in Cleveland. So that's going to be a cold, probably snowy type game, and Cleveland's going to have Deshaun Watson. I would feel much better about that if it was the Saints against Jacoby Brissett, but instead it's going to be Deshaun Watson, and I don't feel as great about that. I will be very interested to see how the suspension alters, or if it alters any win totals, or it will certainly alter point spreads for the first 6 weeks. That no player on the field will alter a point spread like a quarterback will, and especially when you're talking about someone as dynamic as Deshaun Watson and the drop-off from a Deshaun Watson to a Jacoby Brissett. So in those first 6 games, it's clearly going to affect Cleveland's projected win total, their point spreads, all that sort of stuff. But when you get to week 16, when New Orleans rolls in, now you know you're going to face Deshaun Watson, and that sucks. I've said, my take on the Saints team is that I think they're a 10-7 football team. And I think that's good enough to get you in the playoffs as a wild card. The thing that kind of makes you hold your breath a little bit now is, okay, if Watson's there, does 10-7 maybe alter to 9-8? And if that's the case, you're in the exact same situation you were in a year ago, where in week 18 you're holding your breath and needing some help. So we'll see. Time will tell, all that sort of stuff. But this is for Deshaun Watson, for the Browns, make up your own mind. I'm not here to have like a civil conversation about Deshaun Watson and allegations and legalities, and that's not what I do here. I talk about sports. And for the teams that matter to us, namely the Saints, this is super significant, because now you're going to face one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL when you go on the road on Christmas Eve to Cleveland. All right, it's after further review. I'll ask Kat Terrell about that when we come back next. Kat Terrell, who has made the move from The Athletic to ESPN.com. She's a new Saints beat reporter, Saints Nation beat reporter for ESPN.com, where she once worked as the Bengals beat reporter for ESPN.com as the NFL Nation Bengals writer. Now she is back with ESPN, covering the Saints day-to-day, Saints in camp. Tyrann Mathieu still absent. Saints looking healthy. Some of the rookies showing out. We'll talk about all of it with Kat Terrell when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. That's right. Pay one low price and eat as many wings as you want all night long, every Monday at either Pluckers location. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Students starting to get back on and around campus. If that's you and you're looking to eat a ton of food affordably, you can do it tonight and every Monday at Pluckers with all-you-can-eat wings. Maybe you want those last few days with the kiddos before they get back to school. How about some all-you-can-eat wings tonight to watch a full slate of Major League Baseball games at Pluckers? Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Check out Uber Eats or DoorDash if you want your wings delivered to your home, your office, wherever it may be. Pluckers can make that happen. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Pluckers, you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who...
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Again, we're really kind of allowing him, the space to handle what he needs to handle, and we'll be sitting here with open arms when he's ready to come back.
Dennis Allen on Monday, when asked about Tyrann Mathieu's continued absence. Kat Terrell now with ESPN.com, NFL Nation Saints reporter. Good enough to join us on the show. Kat, we appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I would be doing much better if I knew Tyrann Mathieu was coming back to the Saints and was going to play a full 17-game schedule. Can you fill in any of the blanks there with Tyrann?
Yeah, I don't have any new info on that right now. Obviously, it's starting to get a little concerning. That it's week 2 of training camp and he's still not around. I think that's a little baffling. Definitely something to dig into, because as Dennis Allen said today, he said, there will come a point where he needs to be here, but we're not at that point yet. So I feel like Allen's saying all the right things, especially considering we don't really know what kind of personal issue Mathieu is dealing with. But it's definitely not something you see every day. And usually when you see a player have an extended absence, you usually know why. Mm-hmm. So that'll be one of the big stories of camp this week if he doesn't come back soon.
So, Kat, how are they handling his absence on the field right now?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's, pretty much business as usual. Marcus May has come back, so that's one good thing, I guess. But there's kind of a lot of rotating going on, so I feel like I've seen a lot of the safeties back there. I feel like sometimes PJ Williams has been back there. Sorensen at times. So yeah, the problem is not having Mathieu and May spend time together, since they haven't done that at all this summer, really. I think that needs to happen at some point soon. So, I mean, really, they just got into pads. So I feel like it's just the first big step to playing actual football. But, at some point, I'm sure they would like to see how the two play off each other.
Kat, staying in the secondary, I haven't been to a practice yet, but it's been impossible to notice anybody who's been at practice tweeting or talking about practice without mentioning Paulson Adebo. What has he done that has really popped so effectively so early?
Well, I think he's just been around the ball a lot. He just seems to be one of those players so far that has just made a lot of eye-catching defensive plays, whether it's an interception. I believe he had one today off Winston, or a PBU. And, he's done it day after day, and that's really what you're looking for in camp, that kind of consistency. It's why, on the other side, last year, Marquez Callaway kind of became the star of camp, because it was just day after day consistency. So I think what you really want to see with Adebo is him taking that next step forward. last year at this time, I could not even tell you who was one of the starting cornerbacks next to Lattimore because they rotated through them so much. Like, it was crazy. You know, I think it was probably P-Rob at this point before he retired. So it wasn't really that much competition. They went and got Roby eventually, and he didn't play in week 1. And Devo was kind of thrown in there, and I feel like he kind of took it and ran with it. But there's still a lot more that he can do to improve himself, and there is competition, whether it's Alontae Taylor or Roby now in his second year. So this is exactly what you want to see from him so far. And with him playing next to Lattimore, if he turns this performance into the regular season, they could be a really good pair again this year.
She's Kat Terrell on Twitter at @Kat_Terrell, ESPN.com, Saints NFL Nation beat reporter. Look, everyone always wants to know about the rookies as well, and Chris Olave is gaining a lot of headlines. They did put pads on today. Anything from Trevor Penning so far?
Yeah, I tried to watch Penning a lot today specifically. Sometimes it's hard to do when you're trying to take in everything, and it's just one of you. But I did watch Penning a lot. I thought he won a lot of his reps. Maybe 2, I could say. Those weren't great, but definitely a lot more than 2, I think, were good. He was very physical to the point where I was telling someone, I said, I don't know if it's that he's holding or if he's just got really good hand placement today, but he is frustrating the defensive linemen. Carl Granderson was kind of frustrated at one point, and then obviously everyone's heard by now there was that scuffle with Peyton Turner. And that's going to happen when it's hot and you've got pads on and things like that. But I think it's a really good thing, for these 2 young guys to be going at each other and for Penning to be holding his own. He's not a guy, clearly, that's just going to take that. So they kind of took swings at each other, and life moved on pretty quickly. But I did like what I saw from him today. And it'll be interesting to see how he progresses and if he can push James Hurst for that starting spot. But I thought he had a good day today, just from my non-trained eye watching offensive linemen.
What about the running backs? Anything standing out?
Well, I mean, I really think the only thing that stood out about the running backs today was that Alvin Kamara was there. Nothing like huge from the running backs today. Kamara looks solid as always. A guy I'm really interested to watch more now that the pad's on is undrafted rookie Abram Smith. I really want to see more of this guy. I think he's super intriguing. I think the Saints saw a lot in him because they had this conversation about drafting him, but they didn't have that many draft picks. So it ended up being one of those things where the defensive line coach kind of won out in the end. But he's an intriguing guy, and the Kamara situation is just something that people are just going to have to keep watching. I think the fact that he had his court case continued today, probably continued until October, is a good sign for him playing at least half the season and maybe even playing the whole season without a suspension. It's hard to say, but you know how slow the NFL moves on these things. So good sign that they're going to have him on the roster week 1.
Yeah, running back is we've fretted over it for so long because of the likelihood of a Kamara suspension, but the more that keeps getting bumped back, as you said, there's a good possibility he'll certainly be there at the start of the season, if not throughout. A couple more minutes here with Catherine Terrell. She's on Twitter at @Kat_Terrell. You'll give her a follow. Read her stuff at ESPN.com. A lot of talk about Adam Troutman as well. Kind of a big year for him, no doubt. Can you tangibly tell or notice a difference or growth or improvement in him so far?
I think so, honestly. He is one of the guys whose names has come up a lot. He's come up a lot. As we mentioned, Adebo has come up a lot. I think, you talk a lot to other reporters just standing on the sidelines watching practice, especially when they go into special teams work, and there's not as much to actively watch. And Troutman's a guy that a lot of us have said, wow, I think he could take that next step forward this year. And this is really the year that kind of made sense that he could do that. Coming from such a small school, I feel like the narrative was always that, hey, this guy's going to take a while to develop. And then people tend to forget about that and then wonder, okay, well, why is he not where we think he should be? But, so far, so good in camp. And he's a guy I'm kind of excited to watch grow. And I really do think I think about him more maybe than I was at this point last year in terms of practice.
Kat, before you go, injuries are always a thing people talk about. Pete Werner, Juwan Johnson were back out there. Anything else notable right now through 5 practices that's worth keeping an eye on?
It's kind of interesting. It almost feels like Dennis Allen has a lighter workload with the players than maybe at this time in training camp last year. And I don't know if that's an Allen thing or if that's a NFLPA thing. But so far, I feel like the practices haven't been that intense. I mean, it ended at 10:45 today, and so that was about an hour and 45 minutes of practice, which sounds long, but really kind of went by pretty fast. And so maybe he's trying to curb the injuries. I don't know. I mean, so far, mostly so good on the injury front. The only thing I would watch is Marcus Davenport. I didn't see him today, and then practiced 2 days ago. He wasn't really doing anything off to the side like he was before. So it could be concerning if it continues, but, just something I'm going to watch for on Tuesday morning.
She is Kat Terrell. Make sure you follow her on Twitter for Saints reports there throughout camp at Kat_Terrell, and read her stuff at ESPN.com. Kat, we always appreciate the time. Thanks so much for squeezing it in today.
Yep, thanks for having me on.
It's our pleasure. Good stuff there from Kat. We appreciate the time. Interesting about Troutman. I am hesitant to get super pumped about it. And look, full disclosure, Troutman's come on the show a bunch. He's been super friendly and great with us, and I appreciate pull for him. And obviously, I'm a Saints fan. I want him to do great. But he's a guy that we kind of expected to take that step last year and didn't. But a lot there. Lucas Krull, the undrafted free agent, is one that we're keeping an eye on. Abram Smith, the running back, as you heard Kat mention there. But I do find it so interesting. And she mentioned it, and she's right. The lighter workload. We are a far, 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 world away from Sean Payton's first training camp in Jackson, Mississippi back in 2006. I mean, I just throughout the years talking to guys who were part of that team, from the guys who were rookies, it was Colston, or Jerry Evans might have been a rookie on that team as well, but the young guys on that team in 2006, and to the veterans who went through that grind. If it was Breeze or guys like Fujita, and the guys who went through that camp, and Pierre Thomas, who made that team as an undrafted rookie free agent. That was the next year. It was 2007. But they were still practicing there in Jackson. And it's just a completely different world. You're just – two-a-days don't happen anymore. Same in college. You don't see two-a-days anymore. I think as much as you feel like the right thing to do is get yourself conditioned for the season and have this grueling training camp, I think what you discovered is it ain't worth it. Now that you got a 17-game schedule, a 20-week grind when you include the preseason, or 21 weeks when you include the preseason, an 18-week regular season with your bye. And, man, when you just got to put your body through that for so long, for 5 months, it's not worth running dudes through the gauntlet in July. And you want them to have fresh legs and to be healthy and ready to go when it matters, and that's on football Sundays and not for a preseason game or a practice in July. So I think that's intentional. You are seeing coaches lighten up, and part of that is CBA, of course, where players wanted fewer padded and contact practices, no two-a-days. A lot of that is negotiated, is collectively bargained. But I think a lot of it is coaches also understanding their jobs are on the line too. They got to win. And to win, you have to have your best players available and healthy. And if Pete Werner needs a day off, if Marcus Davenport isn't ready yet, man, I don't need to run him out there in July. I need him September the 11th in Atlanta is when I need him. So make sure he's ready for that day. Same, look, we're talking about Tyrann as well. As disappointing it is that he's not out there right now. I mean, Brett Favre routinely wouldn't show up until the third week of preseason. He just didn't need camp. Just run it there and play. So same with a lot of these guys as well. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up hour number 2. Muse will have Tigers in the Pros. Wilson Alexander, about 15 minutes from right now, is a nice piece today in the in the Advocate about LSU's new NIL department. We'll talk about that with Wilson about 15 minutes from right now. Glad you're hanging out on AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential, call Darren James. Get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. Listen, I could run through all of the awards that Darren has won. With eXp Realty, the top producer. You hear me talk about the Real Trends list, the top 1% of realtors in America, all that. It's flashy and impressive, and it's all earned and legitimate. But mostly what you want to know is when you call a realtor, are they going to work hard for you? Are they going to get your home sold? Are they going to answer all your questions? You're going to get results. With Darren James, the answer is routinely and always yes. It's why Darren is on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America. It's why he gets all those awards. It's why he's got a raving fans club that people sing his praises, and I'm in that number. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
You can always text the show on the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Save that number in your phone. Use it. It's an app that I subscribe to called Community, and I pay for, so use it. Text me during the show or whenever. Richie Burt said about Carter Young, if you missed it. Carter Young, Vanderbilt shortstop transfer, did in fact sign with the Baltimore Orioles. He was a 17th round pick, and he signed, so he's not coming to LSU. Richie Burt texted and said, is that a we signed too many players type of decision? Did LSU push him to Major League Baseball because of the freshman coming in? No. That is he got $1.35 million decision is what that is from a 17th rounder. Carter Young, what happens generally is guys let their number be known, and then if they don't go in those top 10 rounds, it's generally because they didn't get the number they wanted. And sometimes you'll have teams take a flyer on a guy because they might always have some cash left over where they can circle back and make one final offer to see if they'll sign. And that's clearly what happened here. The guy got $135. I mean, he got over $1 million as a 17th rounder. So that's exactly what that is. And that's disappointing for LSU because you would very much like to have gone into the season with Jordan Thompson, Carter Young, and Gavin Guidry as your infield. And now you remove Carter Young from that mix, and now you're with Thompson and Guidry are your middle infield. And now you have a hole at third base, which could be Tommy White. You can certainly train Gavin Dugas at second base, and then maybe play Guidry at third, or Thompson third, Guidry at short. You'll have some options that you got to go work out, but you thought you were going to have Jack Pineda and Carter Young and Guidry and Thompson and a lot of depth, which is why a guy like Collier Cranford left and thinking you wasn't going to have a spot or an option. Now you really need depth there on that infield. And so you have fewer options than you had. So you have great options. You have great options, but fewer options than you otherwise would have. All right, it's after further review. Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Alex Lang turned in another great outing. One shutout inning of baseball, didn't walk anybody, struck out 3. That came in a loss to the Toronto Blue Jays. 17 pitches, 10 of them for strikes for Alex Lang. Put those last few rough outings behind him.
What's his ERA right now?
2.70.
That'll play.
Well, yeah, you'll hang around for a while with that one. That's for sure. DJ LeMahieu last night for the New York Yankees. Pretty solid night. 2 for 5 with a homer. His 11th home run of the season. Came in the 5th inning. It was a 2-run shot, so there's his 2 RBIs. Also scored a run. 285 for DJ at the top of the Yankee lineup.
His other hit was in the 9th. He got on down 2 to give Judge a shot to tie it, and Judge flew out. It sucked. You blew it!
Hey, still though, I mean,
you blew it!
Single, get Judge to the plate in the 9th. You mean really nothing better you'd want there. It's just baseball sometimes, right?
I don't need your pep talk, Muse.
Just saying, man.
I don't need a pep talk from you.
They have the best record in baseball.
I don't need a pep talk from you. Ruined my Sunday afternoon. I was actually having a nice siesta. Kind of dozing in and watching the game, dozing in and out a little bit. Woke up, Rizzo hit a 3-run homer, gave him the lead. I'm like, all right. Doze off, wake up. Friggin' Royals hit a home run in the 9th. Royals.
Aaron Nola last night got his 7th win of the season. 6 innings pitched.
1-0?
No.
2-1?
8-2.
Oh!
How about that?
Let's go crazy, Phillies. How about we spread it out a little bit?
Okay. Save a couple of those for the next time. 1 earned run in those 6 innings. Walked 1 and struck out 8. Did Aaron Nola. 7-8 now on the year. Landon Marceau is having quite the stretch in High A Tri-City for the Los Angeles Angels. In his last 64 innings, he sported an ERA of 1.97, 10 walks, 50 strikeouts.
Wow.
Let's see if we can get him a little promotion to AA maybe here, Angels. What are we doing? I mean, guy's clearly too good to be in High A. Let's move him up. Speaking of moving up, Derek Dillon's moving up from the USFL to the NFL. Today, the Cleveland Browns signed the former LSU wide receiver. Look.
Muse.
Well, it's easy.
What are we doing?
One season with the Tampa Bay Bandits, 28 receptions, 386 yards, and 4 touchdowns for Dillon. Now the Cleveland Browns. And finally, WNBA action last night. It was a near double-double for Sylvia Fowles. 16 points.
Big Sil.
9 rebounds. She would add a block and a steal. Played
The
22
no-look was
minutes.
good, too.
Missed all of 1 shot. 8 of 9.
Muse is doing that. He has to, keep his... He's got to keep his... Put him on. He's reaching over with his right hand to hit the computer, to hit the big... Just put it on a button, Muse. Put it on a button.
Nah.
Okay.
It works. That's Tigers in the Price.
All right. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, corporate in Bocage. There in the Mall of Louisiana as well, right on the first floor by the food court. You can't miss it. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge has gone to get engaged for 40 years. You'll always get a gorgeous diamond and the Lee Michaels experience. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, Wilson Alexander. Let's talk some NIL next.
AFR.
It's just about back to school time, y'all, and the Williamson Eye Center is helping you do just that. Affordably, make sure you get that family eye exam like we always tell you about, but also they're having their buy one, get one 50% off sale. So if you are wearing glasses, remember, I always tell you, eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. The eye care part, eye exams. The eyewear, if you do wear contacts or glasses, you can go to any of the Williamson locations. Baton Rouge, Denham Springs, Gonzales, New Roads, Zachary. Now they just opened in Lutcher as well. Buy 1 pair of glasses, get your second pair 50% off right now at the Williamson Eye Center. So it's a great way to affordably get the whole family's eye exams taken care of and whatever glasses that you may need before the school year. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 to schedule that consultation. 924-2020 or online at williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. For the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
This is Sports
I'm
Center.
Kevin Wintermuller, the Deshaun Watson news that dominated the morning. Here we go to Major League Baseball and the trade deadline, which comes your way 24 hours from now. The Yankees and Astros are already making moves. The New York Yankees acquired 3 players today. They get Scott Efros from the Chicago Cubs, but the big news, they get Frankie Montas from the Oakland A's along with Lou Trevino, a reliever. The Yankees have to send some prospects back, but the Yankees, with the best record in baseball, have acquired one of the top acquisitions potentially to be available in Frankie Montas. The Houston Astros, who have the 3rd best record in the bigs, they today get first baseman Trey Mancini from the Baltimore Orioles, but a 3-player deal also involving the Tampa Bay Rays. Trade deadline comes your way exactly 24 hours from now. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson has been suspended for the first 6 games for the upcoming season for violating the league's personal conduct policy. That ruling handed down today by NFL disciplinary officer Sue L. Robinson, a former federal judge. Watson has been accused of sexually assaulting and inappropriate contact in 25 civil lawsuits. He settled 23 of the 24 pending cases.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote Renter's Insurance at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Alvin Kamara had his hearing rescheduled for that fight out in Las Vegas around the Pro Bowl. I want to get to that in about 15 minutes from right now. NIL, of course, has been on everybody's lips as we talk to college football. It's hard not to talk about NIL and everything therein. And LSU has evolved in just a year in this ever-evolving landscape in these uncertain times, which many consider to be like the Wild Wild West. I'm just trying to throw out every cliche I could in as short amount of time as possible. Wilson Alexander has a nice piece up right now on what LSU is doing to take that next step. Wilson, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
Just navigating this Wild Wild West in these uncertain times of NIL. Hey, give me the Cliff's Notes here of what LSU did with creating this position, I guess is the way to say it.
Yeah, it's a complete NIL department within the athletic department. I guess you could think of it as like an NIL vertical of sorts. Taylor Jacobs, who has been helping oversee this for the last year, has been in compliance. She is now the head of that NIL department, and they partnered with Altius, who they've been partnered with for a while. Altius would come in and educate, help sort of lead some of those seminars as a consultant. In this general manager program that Altius started, LSU is one of 6 schools to join it, and it'll bring a couple of Altius representatives, I guess, people hired by LTS on campus to help facilitate deals, which is the big new change in the law that was amended this summer. That was probably the biggest piece of what LSU is doing now, that facilitation part that they were not able to do before.
What is so one of the things you obviously had to speak to Brian Kelly for this piece as well, and one of the things that I thought was maybe most interesting is Mangan, if I'm saying the name correctly, from Altius, correct? Said they met with coaches from around the country, and the first time they ever met Coach Kelly, his demeanor, his approach, his intuition, but his ability to see the bigger picture while being proactive in the space was something like I had never seen before. Why is Brian Kelly seemingly so in tune with this whole space in a way that other coaches maybe aren't?
He has a very specific philosophy for how he wants LSU to use NIL and how he wants it approached on his football team. And Celine, she was really high on Coach Kelly, just really complimentary of him and what he's done this whole time to be involved in sort of charting that vision and that approach. He's not going to do everything on a day-to-day basis. He has people on staff to help with that. Ira Childress is going to be a big part of that. But it's because of just sort of how he has laid out a plan is what stood out so much to her and everybody else who I spoke to for this piece.
I want to talk about that plan because part of it is, as you wrote about, equalizing the locker room, meaning every player will have a chance to profit from NIL. Does that mean Brian Kelly sees a world where like all 1 to 85, every scholarship player is getting something through like a collective?
And walk-ons.
So
he envisions.
Go ahead, please.
Go ahead.
No, please.
Yeah, he envisions a way. So you saw maybe on Friday, every LSU player was starting to tweet about this thing called a Baton Rouge NIL Club, which they have all joined, at least 75 of them, and people can directly donate to this club. It's a little bit unclear what exactly the deliverables are because what they have to do in order to get that money. But the LSU players are supposed to sort of make their own content and engage on a message board there. And there's walk-ons engaged in that. And it's basically these things like that club or other companies that have partnered with LSU, the Bayou Bat crew with NFTs. The players join those things and these sort of big groups. And then if people contribute to those financially, then everybody can kind of get a cut, even if you're a walk-on.
It's interesting. Would the fan directly contribute to one player, or they would be basically contributing to an entire, the whole pot that's then divided up among all the members?
It would be a contribution to an entire pot that then gets divided. The way it works with the Bayou Bat crew, for instance, this was a concept that started by former Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray and a couple of his other former teammates at Georgia, and then they brought it to a few other schools, LSU included this year. Fans contribute to this pot, and then it gets paid out equal amounts. Or 50% of all that goes to the players, and then that's just distributed equally to all of them, and they all get an equal amount of whatever has been raised.
Wilson Alexander is with us from The Advocate. Interesting piece up right now on LSU and how they're approaching NIL here and the sort of evolving space. Something else that Brian Kelly told you was that they're not going to use NIL for recruiting inducements. Wilson, I'm just going to ask a very blunt question. There are obviously programs doing that. Is it possible to compete if you're not doing that?
I'm still skeptical about that, and that was something that I asked Brian sort of at the end of our conversation was, do you feel comfortable in the ability to keep up if y'all are not going to be doing those recruiting inducements and paying what we've seen, like the $8 million to the quarterback or the, some of those other numbers thrown out that we've all seen. And he acknowledged that they might have to get creative in some instances, but he still feels comfortable with it. And so I think it's something that sort of remains to be seen. We're going to see how it plays out. But I am interested to see if LSU can keep up if they're not going to be using those recruiting inducements, which is, of course, an NCAA violation, right, but just one that is not really being enforced yet.
I don't even know how it is enforceable. I mean, you would have to have an awful paper trail and all different. It seems very easy to work around those rules that are in place. The other thing that was interesting is this notion that, look, I mean, I talked about it here, that LSU early on, and you saw it around signing day, where Texas A&M and other schools were very clearly ahead in the NIL space, that LSU was behind. The folks you turned to, I believe that this was Altius who mentioned that LSU was like on the 5-yard line. Not necessarily behind, but like waiting to jump in. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit there on what the approach was for LSU in the early days of NIL? I mean, like, only a year in, but you understand what I mean. The relatively early days.
Yeah, those first, I guess,
Right.
6 months,
Yeah.
6 to 8 months. The approach, from what I've always heard, and has been to be cautious and patient with it, and also in order to try to set up something that is sustainable. This comes down all the way down from Scott Woodward all the way down, is that they don't want to just be throwing money at this problem, because that money will eventually run out. There's going to be at some point in NIL a player who gets guaranteed a deal and then they don't pan out. And that hasn't happened yet because it's so new, but I think everybody's interested to see what happens when that happens with that deal and what the player does. And so LSU didn't really want to get into that kind of a situation. It also couldn't do the facilitation piece like we talked about earlier because of the state law. And so they were handcuffed in a way in terms of what they were able to do until that got changed in terms of arranging deals. And so, but even still, their approach has been to, okay, let's take a step back. Let's not be outward and brazen about what it is that we're doing. Another word that kept coming up talking to people was innovative, because of the things that they've done in terms of like setting up networking events and like the there's other things that they've done, like the group licensing in order to get players' jerseys sold and all that kind of thing. And so they were sitting back a little bit, but in order to then enter that and jump into the end zone with some of the other schools like Ohio State, like Miami, who have been sort of brazen about what they're doing, but without trying to get all the way to that point just yet. They wanted to be a little bit cautious.
Ryan Day has said on the record a number. He needs $13 million a year to compete with NIL. I mean, it is amazing just the different approaches. Do you get the sense, Wilson, that there are more programs that will sort of follow this approach that LSU has taken?
It's hard to know. It would probably be the most sustainable. I mean, that's kind of what they always keep throwing around, is sustainable, and it is probably the way to do it. But it's a hard question to answer. Right. I think a lot of the teams grabbing headlines these days are the ones who aren't really doing it like this. Who are sort of like you have, your big booster at Miami and the other schools like Ryan Day talking about the big number figures. But I just don't know how long they can keep that up, because we'll see how long donors can sort of sustain that method of doing it. Probably on the whole, it'll be more like this. But, in terms of those sort of top tier programs, there's a lot of money flying around.
Yeah. It will be fascinating to see if billionaires are content parting ways with millions of dollars every year to pay high school athletes to go play school. I mean, or go play sports. It will be a fascinating test case to see how it evolves and which methodology ultimately wins out in the long term. Really well done. It's a piece up at The Advocate right now if you want to go read it. Wilson Alexander talked to Brian Kelly, Altius, LSU's partners, and people involved as well with how LSU is changing in the NIL space. Wilson, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for a couple of minutes.
Thanks for having me. I'll have a great rest of your day.
All right, man. Be well. He's on Twitter, by the way, at Walesander. I like to say Wales. Now I have to actually spell it. It's WH Alexander _, but it's like Walesander. So I was joking. He hears it all the time. But job well done by Wilson, because he talked to all the particulars here. The thing, you know what? Actually, let me grab a quick break so I stay on time here. I want to elaborate a bit, because the part where he talked about the collective that LSU has organized, Go Enterprises, is the part that stood out most to me. How LSU's continue to advance and maybe trying to keep up. I'll pick up on that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air. Evan Shepard called River City's 1 Hour Air just 3 days ago, left a 5-star review. I can't say enough about how helpful these guys have been. They are quick to respond and quick to get the job done. Both of those things are super important, especially in the summertime. Russell was my technician, and he's not only great at his job, but was a pleasure to be around. If you want your AC issues fixed fast, these are the guys to call. That's a real-life 5-star review on Google from Evan Shepard. You can go read it yourself or read any of the other thousands of 5-star Google reviews to see what experiences people have had, just like the experience I've had over the years with River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You can't miss them. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I appreciate Wilson Alexander for joining us on the show. Go read his piece up at The Advocate right now. He talked to a lot of folks involved with LSU, including Brian Kelly and how they're handling NIL. He does mention, though, the Go Enterprises, which Go Enterprises is a collective, which, of course, now that Louisiana state law has changed, been altered, not only did it allow for the formation of a collective, but for the facilitation of deals and through NIL by LSU and LSU representatives. Well, he writes that Go Enterprises has raised several $1 million and struck 15 to 20 deals, according to a source, helping LSU become more competitive in what it can offer. Understand, there's a contradiction there. Not in reporting, in what LSU is saying. When Brian Kelly on one hand says We're not going to use NIL for inducements. It's not the spirit of it. But you're telling me that you have a collective that's raised several $1 million and struck 15 to 20 deals that's allowing LSU to be more competitive in what it can offer. Offer who? For what purpose? Offer the guys that are already here to stay here? I mean, it's no great coincidence that right after the law changed, a collective formed, was funded with millions of dollars, and boom, LSU starts popping on recruits. I'm not telling you they're paying kids right now, but the pitch is undeniably changing. Where you're saying, we have a collective. I mean, whether you're giving them money now as an inducement or you're just talking about what will be available to them once they sign, however you want to say, that's why it's so gray. Like, it's so easy to be manipulated with how the rules set up, because there is no way to judge any of it, to really navigate any of this or regulate any of this. So, and I don't care at all. I mean, not an ounce. Someone wants to pay you money to play, God bless you, go get yours. I really don't mind at all. I don't know that we ever have any type of certainty or consistency until people are willing to be honest about the whole thing. Like, and this is how it's always been. Every school points a finger at someone else. Oh, you're cheating. But it's never your school that's cheating. But I think the problem is us calling this cheating. It's not cheating. It's allowed. Why are we pretending like this part? Oh, we're going to allow payments, but not all the way. But you can't have them when you're in high school. I mean, it's so clear. I mean, the law changed. The collective was formed. It's been funded, and now they've done 15 to 20 deals, and it just so happens to coincide with LSU doing great in recruiting right now. Of course, it's part of it. Of course it is. In the same way that, of course, NIL was part of how Jimbo signed the best class ever, and the haves continue to be the haves. Like, you shouldn't bemoan it or criticize it or be nervous about it. You should celebrate it, because if you're an LSU fan, it means you're continuing to be one of the haves. You have the structure in place, the organization in place now to prevent what happened this past signing day when you had kids from Louisiana who left because you weren't competitive with NIL deals. So, but it's a good piece. Go read it. And it's good to see LSU is moving in that direction. All right, we're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Great people over at GMFS, man. They've just helped me and my family so much over the years. Doug Bickley is our lender, but, man, if it's, I could start naming, if it's Stephanie Chenevert, Ryan LaRusso, so many of the folks over at GMFS that are just awesome. Find the local loan officer nearest you, gmfsmortgage.com. Home buy, refi, construction loans, GMFS Mortgage. Maybe you want to do a cash-out refinance. Maybe you want to take some of your home's equity to do that home improvement project. There's so many options. Let our friends at GMFS Mortgage help you out. gmfsmortgage.com, our state's largest local lender, voted one of the best places to work in Baton Rouge in the Baton Rouge Business Report, gmfsmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. Saints are back on the practice field today. Alvin Kamara was back on the practice field with them on Monday, which is fantastic to see. Healthy, which he wasn't for a chunk of the season last year. The question for Kamara, however, is if he'll be able to play a full 17-game schedule for the Saints, considering his arrest in February around the Pro Bowl in Las Vegas. Today, Monday, was the scheduled hearing for Kamara and his legal team. He did not have to be present, but Kamara's attorneys requested another rescheduling of the hearing. They requested an additional 60 days in the case to continue gathering evidence and going through the process, which was granted. So Kamara, if you just look at 60 days from now, you're talking about the beginning of October. The Saints schedule, they open up September the 11th at Atlanta. They're home against Tampa. They're at Carolina. Then week 4 is the game in London against Minnesota on October the 2nd. So it would sort of hold that around that trip to London is when we may have another step in the Kamara legal proceedings, however it may play out. If it's another, continuance, if it's a ruling, if charges are dropped, who knows? I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know what's going to happen legally in this case. I'm just looking at when will Alvin Kamara be available for the Saints and for how long. So it's pretty safe to say at this point that he's going to be there at the start of the season for at least the first 3 weeks. Because if the next part of this court case or the legal proceedings is beginning of October, that's when the Saints go to London. So the first 3 weeks, he should be available, good to go. That could definitely help you get off to a nice start in 3 games where you're at Atlanta, which you should win. You're home against Tampa. I understand Saints have had a lot of success against Tampa and that game's in the Dome. Then you're at Carolina, who I don't think is going to be very good even with Baker Mayfield. And as we've talked about, I'd rather play Carolina on the road with Baker early in the season than late in the season when maybe they figure each other out a little bit better. So remember, the NFL does not have to abide by legal proceedings, as we just saw with Deshaun Watson. They did not bring criminal charges, yet he's still going to face a 6-game suspension. The NFL can do what it wants with respect to its personal conduct policy. And it doesn't have to coincide with what happens through a formal legal proceeding. Just because there hasn't been any finality in the Kamara case legally doesn't mean the NFL won't punish him. But if you've gone to this point since February with nothing from the NFL, where they're just continuing to monitor the legal proceedings, it's hard to imagine that between now and the start of the season, they would make a ruling when there hasn't been any advancement in the legal case. If they've just been monitoring the case, why not continue to monitor the case until we learn more about what's all transpired? I'll remind you that the way that it's written is if in the personal conduct policy is if it's nonviolent, if it's a nonviolent offense, and if it's a player's first ever offense, they can bypass suspension and only be be levied a fine or something along those lines. That's what happened last year with Marshawn Lattimore. It was a nonviolent offense. He had been a model citizen in the NFL. That was his first time ever being in trouble. So, and ultimately everything was dropped, so he wasn't punished at all. But that's why he avoided largely suspension. In this instance, the thing that's concerning about Kamara is that it is a violent occurrence. They beat the hell out of some guy outside of an elevator. So, and it's on video. I don't know how Kamara could skirt that. I'm not saying he will or won't. I don't know. I'm literally just concerned over how many games is he going to be available for the Saints this season. And I think it's safe to say at this point, you'll have him for the first 3. We'll see after that. And it seems like a max 6-game suspension is what he would face. Under the personal conduct policy, the largest suspension levied so far, again, under the personal conduct policy, this isn't, Calvin Ridley with the sports betting thing where he's suspended for a year. This is the personal conduct policy. The most heavy-handed suspension we've seen so far is 10 games, and that was for a player with multiple domestic violence instances. This isn't that. So, could it be less than 6? Hopefully, hope it's none. I know there may be some moral relativists that are like, all you care about is football when a guy got beat up outside the elevator. I don't know what happened there. Who was the instigator, what the guy said. Quite honestly, I think sometimes in life, dude, sometimes you need to be popped in the mouth. Like if you're popping off. I'm not saying you deserve to have the holy hell beat out of you, but I'm mostly concerned with what's going to happen with Kamara. This is so awkward. Forgive me, but it's so awkward when you're a sports talk host and you have to talk about legalese. It's not my comfort zone. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to pretend to know what's going to happen. What I know is Alvin Kamara is going through a legal situation. As a sports talk guy, I'm curious how this impacts the Saints. How many games will he be there? How many will he miss? Same thing goes for Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. There's a lot of people having that conversation today. The avenue that I mostly care about sitting in this chair today is the fact that Deshaun Watson's going to be there week 16 when the Saints play him, provided he's healthy. So I hope Alvin Kamara is there as well because that'll give the Saints the best chance to win. So beginning of 60 days until the next hearing, beginning of October thereabouts is when we'll likely have to just unearth this and start talking about it again. In the meantime, it will be imperative that Abram Smith, the undrafted rookie out of Baylor, or Malcolm Brown potentially, Mark Ingram, whoever it may be, that somebody steps up and provides real quality depth at the running back spot with the uncertainty around Alvin Kamara. I think that's the best way to say it. All right, it's after further review. By the way, Trevor Penning, if you were here last hour, an hour ago we had Kat Terrell here, and she gave us a camp report. Trevor Penning has gotten into it now with a couple of guys, with Carl Granderson and with Peyton Turner. Can I just tell you how much I freaking love that? He's the guy who, when the big, nasty, physical, aggressive offensive lineman is on the other team, the guy that, like, finishes blocks, annoys the hell out of defensive linemen, goes full on like Donkey Kong in training camp. You hate him unless if he's your guy, which is why I love that he's our guy, like that he's a Saints player and is hopefully going to play a long, long time with this team. Here was number 4, please, was Penning talking about the dust up with Peyton Turner.
I mean, it's football. We're competing. I mean, it's a tough game for tough people. You got to be able to take that. I mean, there's no bad blood between us. I mean, we're just competitors competing.
Friggin' rookie. It's a rookie. Football. It's tough people. You got to be able to take that. I mean, finishing blocks, driving dudes into the ground, frustrating them. Like, that, he is a 330-pound version of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That's what he's a 330-pound country Iowa corn-fed version of CJ Gardner-Johnson. That's what he is. This is him talking about physicality and finishing all his blocks.
I mean, it's part of my game, I think. I mean, it's just how I am as a player, but, you know, I'm obviously out there working technique. I'm trying to get better, you know, at the technique of the game and getting the blocks down, and then, you know, the finishing ability. That's what I pride myself in, and that's always going to be part of my game.
Trevor Penning frustrating Peyton Turner, like driving him into the ground, finishing blocks, is the offensive line the Northern Iowa. He did go to Northern Iowa, right? Yeah. Northern Iowa offensive line version of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson getting whoever that dude was from the Chicago Bears all out of sorts and like closed fist punching him in the face with a helmet on. That's what Trevor Penning is, and I freaking love it. I mean, I could not be more pumped. And I don't care that he's just taking rotational reps, first team, whatever. Like, I just want a dude that is a small school guy that comes in as a first-round pick that is not half-stepping at all, that is not afraid to throw his weight around and piss people off. Because if you'll do it to your teammate, you're damn sure going to do it on a Sunday to your opponent. Freaking love that. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. If you missed it earlier today, Baseball Tigers got a little bit of bad news today, but one piece of good news as well. With the draft deadline coming and going, we'll get to that. If you want to join us, you know how you can do it. Email us, tweet us, jump in the Bike Forward YouTube chat, or text me in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. We continue next.
AFR.
Man, it is raining outside. I can literally hear the thunder and lightning outside. And when storms roll through this time of year, sometimes that means power outages. Don't get stuck in the dark, especially when it's 100 degrees every day. Make sure your home central AC runs and never stops. Schutz Electric can help. At Schutz, they install whole home generators. CESofLA.com. That's the website. CESofLA.com for Schutz Electric. They'll install a Generac standby generator at your home like they did at mine. We've been rolling for about a month now. Had a power outage a couple of Fridays ago. As soon as the power went out, boom, within 60 seconds, our Generac from Schutz powered the whole house until the power company got everything fixed and got us back online. Storm season is almost here, y'all. Do not wait another day. It's not like they can just come one day and hook it up. You got to get permits and a lot of different things to make it happen. Start that process today with Schutz Electric. CESofLA.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play.
Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening, but they fought with
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
And just a quick catch up. Maybe if you're just knocking off of work, jumping in the car, truck, or van, heading home, turning us on YouTube. We appreciate it. Little baseball news. The Major League Baseball draft signing deadline was today at 4 o'clock. And there was a little bit of disappointing news. Carter Young, the shortstop from Vanderbilt, did in fact sign. 17th round pick. He did in fact sign with the Baltimore Orioles today. That clearly caught up LSU off guard. Remember, last Friday, LSU issued a release announcing the 5 transfers that were coming to school. They would not have announced those transfers if they didn't think it was a done deal. But Baltimore came in late and ultimately threw $1.35 million at Carter Young, and he signed. So it's disappointing. It's the nature of how it works. Until the deadline comes and goes, you really can't exhale, even though you might feel good about certain prospects. So Carter Young is not going to be an LSU Tiger. The other player, that we were keeping an eye on was Jaden Newt. And Newt, I have not seen anything official. I keep refreshing Teddy Cahill's Twitter account to see. But it looks as though, and knock on wood, and we do not know definitively, but there has not been anything reported as of yet about Newt signing. So it looks as though Jaden Newt is going to end up on campus. And I'll read you his, the particulars on Newt real quickly. Newt, is here you go. Out of Sierra Canyon High School in Oak Park, California, the number 1 ranked right-handed pitcher in California. He played in the Perfect Game All-American Classic. He's the number 22 overall prospect in the entire country as graded by Perfect Game. So it's a big-time right-handed prospect who you were kind of holding your breath on there to the end, and it appears as though he hasn't signed. We haven't seen anything formally yet, but LSU might have gotten lucky there getting Jaden Newt on campus, but Carter Young a no-go. I got a text from Jake Nola who said, Matt, do you feel some of the baseball transfers were using LSU as leverage in the draft? No, I don't, Jake. I think they were just giving themselves the best option possible because if the draft didn't work out, they wanted to have their spot at LSU. The leverage is the extra year in college, right? I mean, regardless of where it is, the leverage is saying, I'll just go back and play another year in college or go to college if you're a high school prospect. But you know, if Carter Young had stayed at Vanderbilt, he'd still have that leverage of going back to a great program in Vanderbilt, whether it was LSU or not. So, no, I don't think it was a situation where these prospects were using LSU as leverage. I think they wanted to make sure they had a spot at LSU if the draft didn't work out. It was basically their hedge. It was their safety net. And Jay Johnson was more than happy to take him. But you do that with the understanding that you're always going to lose guys. But it's hard to be really disappointed when you got Tommy White and you got Christian Little and you got Paul Skeens and you got Thatcher Hurd and you got a guy like Brady Neal to show up on campus who, quite frankly, that was a coin flip, a guy who had a big number. Gavin Guidry had a big number. I told you that was offered his number was $3.2 million. He was offered $2 million 5 different times and passed on it because he had his number and he stuck to it. So there were a lot of 50-50 guys LSU didn't think they were going to get on campus that they did. So, yeah, it sucks when you lose a guy, but the flip side of it is you have to look at the wins as well, and LSU baseball had plenty of them to put this roster together. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by DraftKings. Otter Locks is coming up here in a few minutes. I'm not going to lie to you. Last week was a bloodbath for Otter Locks. If I went back and tallied it up, I think the Otter was something like 2-9 last week. And we might be on full-on fade the Otter territory. I'll tell you what my strategy is going to be. I'm not going to bet the Otter's picks anymore until he gets back on a roll. But when I do, I'll be betting at DraftKings. The DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. New users, remember, use the promo code Baton Rouge. You can get up to $1,000 risk-free. Maybe that's the ticket. Bet up to $1,000 risk-free. So bet on the Otter Locks, $1,000 risk-free. If it doesn't hit, no worries. They'll give you another opportunity to hit with that bet at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge when you do. Of course, that's how they know we sent you, and also that's how you unlock that great code or that great special or promotion at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Major League Baseball, full swing. You want to bet futures. So many NFL and college football futures, win totals, individual awards, championship props, all that sort of stuff. You can bet right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP. All right, so we do have the Otter coming up with a little Otter Locks here in just a few. Been a really good show. If you missed anything on the show today, you can always catch AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. We did open up the show today talking a little bit about Tyrann Mathieu, who continues to be absent. As a matter of fact, here was head coach Dennis Allen today when asked about Tyrann for an update.
Again, we're really kind of allowing him, the space to handle what he needs to handle, and we'll be sitting here with open arms when he's ready to come back.
I'm trying not to overreact. Try not to overreact, but I mean, at this point, I don't know how you're not at least the slightest bit concerned. Usually when a player is absent, you know why they're absent. I think because it was Tyrann Mathieu, collectively, we're all willing to say, wait and see. I mean, personal, he had a personal matter he was tending to, personal reasons, fine. I think most people are okay with that. But now you get into week 2 of training camp. He's not back. And that alone isn't necessarily the most concerning thing, but then deleting, that's sort of the odd behavior, right? Deleting everything from his Instagram account on Saturday, all the Saints references is kind of what would send people into a little bit of a tizzy. I'm not trying to overreact, but I also think at this point you have to be legitimately concerned to say what's really going on there. So Saints are back on the practice field tomorrow. Got the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. It's pretty cool. We actually have football coming up later this week. But the Saints won't play their first preseason game until next week. But you keep inching closer to it. Look, if this is just Tyrann Mathieu not being at camp, I'm totally fine with Tyrann Mathieu not being at camp. Just be healthy, ready to roll for the start of the regular season. But with every day that passes and you don't hear anything, it is a bit concerning. So maybe tomorrow will be the day that we get an answer. If we do, we'll certainly be talking about it here on AFR. All right, final break of the show, y'all. We'll come back. We'll do otter locks. I'll find out what we're betting on tonight. By betting, I mean fading the otter entirely. That's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Expanding healthcare in Baton Rouge. Online at brgeneral.org. brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Emergency care, no matter where you are in the greater Baton Rouge area. The Mid-City location, the Bluebonnet campus, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, all have emergency care open. You know, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital means Ascension Parish. You now have an emergency room all to yourself. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Of course, the Express Care locations you hear me talk about all the time, that's walk-in urgent care 7 days a week. If you want to bypass the ER, just go to any of the urgent care locations from the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Dutchtown right next to the high school, on Highland just through the south gates of LSU, and on Nicholson directly across from Tiger Stadium. The Pennington Cancer Center, emergency care, the Heart and Vascular Center, elective surgery, primary care. You can even deliver your baby at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside, off the bench, Hunt and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Eli's always been into
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Workbox Services. For over 20 years, Baton Rouge's leader on on-site construction, industrial, and residential services.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the still vacationing Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing good, Matthew. How about you?
I'm doing absolutely splendid. Nice, relaxing weekend. Probably not as nice as a weekend in Del Mar, where the surf meets the turf. But all things considered, pretty good. Otter, I'm just curious, after a rough week, how are you feeling right now?
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I understand, but
you go through. You have your ups and your downs. Last week was rough.
I feel like it's my job to ask the tough questions. I wonder if you're really locked in right now.
A little distracted, I guess you could say. Just a tad. So, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to be highly selective.
Okay.
I will give at the start of game time tonight, we'll go into a lot of opinions, but for your picks to try and, kill the faders or, get you back on track.
I literally just said in the last segment, I was like, it's time. It's time to fade the other.
But overall, you've done the math, though. Overall, we're still up. Last week was up bad. All right, like the Yankees in Seattle.
Don't do it to the Yankees, Otter. Please don't do it to the Yankees.
Herman has 2 appearances. Got shelled against Houston. First time back this year. Then a Mets. He was better, but not great. And so you just don't know. But $1.90 against Seattle, it's just a stay away spot on that one.
Okay.
The Mets, on the other hand, are red hot. They're red hot, and I like them in -1.5, -140 against Washington and Patrick Corbin. We know about Corbin this year. The Mets 6 straight wins, so we're taking the Mets -1.5, -140.
Okay. All right.
And we're
Mets
also
on the run line. Okay.
using the Mets and Scherzer and parlaying it with the White Sox. That comes back at a +115. The White Sox, they have been a tease at times, right when they kind of get things going. They're only 2 games back, so the Minnesota Twins in the American League Central, and now they got the Royals coming in, and they got to kind of beat up on the weaker teams to try and continue their pursuit of the Twins in the American League Central. Okay. It's been kind of a disappointing season for them, but both of those teams are going Mets, White Sox parlay comes back at +115.
All right, Mets, White Sox parlay, and Mets on the run line. That's what the Otter's going with tonight. Anything else?
1 first 5 under.
Okay.
And this is compliments of Dave Koken.
Okay.
Texas and Baltimore under 4.5 for first 5.
All right, first 5 under. Okay, so picks, Mets on the run line. A parlay, a money line parlay with the Mets and the White Sox, and a Texas-Baltimore first 5 under. That's what we're playing tonight. Where is Hanny?
Hanny is at Rouge Creole tonight.
All right.
Yes. So at Rouge Creole, and I'll be with them for the first 2 segments. Troy Macker, we'll talk about the Cleveland Browns, how the odds have adjusted, with the Cleveland Browns for the announcing of that. I was wrong on that one. I thought that was going to be significantly more than that, and made some plays accordingly. So it looks like not the news just keeps rolling on in here on Mekhi.
I got 30 seconds. What was the how did Vegas react to the Watson news?
Generally speaking, from 40-1 to win it all to 30-1. So, and we're looking at all the division, drops and things like that. Because I had some Cincinnati, Baltimore exacta boxes to finish in the top two in that division. Now the Browns, if they have Watson for 11 games, that makes them more of a threat.
For sure. And the Saints will see Watson week 16 in Cleveland on Christmas Eve. So I'm curious how that would alter that game as well. So
yes.
All right, the Otter still enjoying the ponies out in Del Mar. Maybe we'll see you sometime in 2023, Otter.
Easy.
I'll
be back later next week.
We'll look forward to it, Otter. Have a great night. We appreciate it.
All right.
Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know, commercial or residential. We'd love to help you out. All over the state of Louisiana, even parts outside of Louisiana, continue to expand and grow. Storm season is upon us. You got roofing issues. We'd love to help you out. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. You can email me directly if you'd like. Matt@HUDCOroofing.com. Muse, did you learn anything? No? Okay. Muse learned nothing. We're just going to finish the show, and we'll see you tomorrow on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. As we get on down the road, remind you about Michelli, who is hiring right now. 75 years in business, still growing. I love talking about this company. I love whenever I get a chance to talk to Joel McMullen and all the great people over at Michelli to learn more about this company based in the New Orleans area, which is a national leader in its sector. Michelli is the nation's largest distributor of scales, but not just scales. They can calibrate all of your different equipment, tons of different services for all the different industries that they service. And right now, Michelli is hiring in 3 different Louisiana locations, at their New Orleans Harahan office, in Baton Rouge, and in Lake Charles. So if you're interested in a career at a business that's been around for 75 years and is still growing and expanding, it's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Check them out online at Michelli.com. Hit the careers tab right at the top to learn more. Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Vizzy, the first hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different. Vizzy, step up your seltzer game.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.